Oh, this jelly right here, it's going towards it. I don't know, there was another bloke with me, and we both, and we didn't do any damage to it. And well, I don't know whether we had traces or not, but I really couldn't see where my bullets were going. All I was looking for was them to hit the aircraft to see, and of course there was an explosive bullet every now and again, which you'd see a flash of when you hit something, which is what happened when I got my J87.
Right.
And there was a big, not only a flash, but there was a big flash like as big as a plate, right in the wing roof, you see, and everything, it just sort of disappeared, and it was smoke and flame everywhere. But this one, I couldn't see anything happen to it, and he got away. And it was just because of my lack of training or lack of practice.
Because it was all lead and angle, wasn't it?
Yes, it was, and you had to allow for the speed and the height.
Yep.
And the direction.
That's right.
There were three things to take into account, really.
Yeah.
And now Killer Call was a natural. He could do it every time. He could just line it up, hit it. And there were a lot of these aces were very good shots. There was no doubt about that. And they practiced it a lot.
Yeah, the Canadian chap, evidently, I can't remember his name now. Big one.
Finnegan?
No, not Finnegan. No, this chap. It's the most incredible story, and I can't remember his name, but he was a good skeet shooter, or before the war.
Yes.
So
that was what they used to. They gave us one go at that. These clay shots, clay.
That's
skits,
it. Yeah.
And they'd shoot off, and I don't think I only had one go at it. The gun was, I didn't know much about the gun. It only knocked my shoulder off or something.
That's right.
You want to. It's like tennis, you want a lot of shots at it and mistakes and correct here, correct there, so that you're an efficient pilot, that you've got this gun platform, and it's there to shoot aircraft down. And then when you get into that position, you want to be able to say, right, I'll hit that. And I was disappointed quite a few times. I couldn't understand why I didn't. It killed me, and it was at OTU.
Yes.
Operation Training Unit, and once again, I'd never flown anything but a Wirraway or a Tiger Moth, and these were pretty nasty aircraft, really, especially because they had they were short in there from propeller to tail, and they had a very high wing loading. All right, so when you spun them, they really went round and round, and and about the first or second job you had when you got to OTU was take this up and get yourself familiar with it. Spin it, do everything, stall it, and I'm doing this all right, but I stalled it. Oh, I think it was one of these big stall turns, and let it go and just get it out, and it got into a vertical spin.
Oh.
But I had full throttle at the time, and I couldn't get it out. It's going round and round and round, and I'm pulling and nothing's going. And it's inverted, you see. So I'm very disconcerted by the whole setup, and I decided that I couldn't get it out. I was going to have to hop out.
Right.
And so I'm undoing straps and so on. I thought, well, pull off the throttle to stop the airflow.
Yep.
When I pulled off the throttle, she quietened down and just.
That's all we had to do, reduce power.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because of the airflow over the wings, over the tailplane.
And they never told you
locked
that?
it in. Oh, no, they told me. Never told me anything about it. I don't know whether they knew themselves, whether they ever had an inverted spin. Anyway, when I came back, I certainly told them, and because I wasn't very high by that time. Well, I couldn't believe that I couldn't get it out. And they are, and even in taxiing, they'll ground leap with the drop of a hat if you're not very careful, because that's such a short distance from here to here. They'd flip around like that. You'd have to land, and it happened to a few blokes too. So we didn't have that very long. I think I might have done about 10 or 15 trips in a Tomahawk.
Right.
And they were unspectacular, I can tell you. But anyhow, we got them the Kitty Hawks then, and they were much better. Much better aircraft. But they were too heavy. They were a fighter bomber, you see, and they were heavier and stronger. And when you could get away all right in a Kitty Hawk, Because if you turned over and went down,
Yeah, that weight
you went
behind
like
it. Yeah.
because the old 109s couldn't catch up or anything
Yeah.
after you. But they were a very, very good aircraft. But in a dogfight, they were with a 109. You just couldn't do it.
Yeah, just too heavy.
Yeah, and
What was your comparison then between the Kitty and the Spitty? I know the Spitfire was the sleek, aerodynamic, that was the duck's guts, but as a fighter and as you said, as an actual gun platform, which is what you're looking at when you're attacking, how did you find the...
Oh yeah, because I never did a dogfight in a Spitfire. Because when I came back here to Australia after the 2 tours in the Middle East and went up to New Guinea and Morotai, the Japs had gone way up to the Philippines, you see. They'd been pushed out. And there were only a few
You did a lot of strafing runs.
Oh, a lot of, we used to draft boats and camps and things like that. And we did a fair bit of night patrolling, but only once a month something had come over and the GC would put us onto it. And, one or two of the boys got one, but that was, I knew that it was a Rolls Royce of aircraft. It was perhaps like, well, I just got a new Corolla, which is the smoothest thing I've ever driven. Well, it's like that against, say, I wouldn't say an old Ford or Dodge, but against about a 1950s motor car.
Wow.
Which wasn't all that beautifully built. This thing, you wouldn't even know it's going. And as a Spitfire was a silky sort of thing. It just wanted to fly. And it would manoeuvre so easily, gracefully. And it didn't have any bad habits. You could rip it around and it wouldn't fall out of your hands into a spin or anything like that, like the Kitty Hawk would, because of those elliptical wings, I think.
Right.
And you really felt that you had...
Responsive?
Oh yes, beautifully responsive. You could do that with it, you know. Oh, it was a lovely aircraft, and I regretted very much not having it when I was flying against the Germans in the Middle East. Yes, we did have a few Spitfires in the Middle East, but they were mostly all the Australian squadrons had Kitty Hawks.
Yeah, the Yanks had some.
Yeah.
I think there's a photo.
The old off the old oil cooler opening there. In the desert, we had to have a big round wooden block which fitted into it.
When that was to stop sand and stuff.
Oh yes, when it was parked, so you didn't get it all blocked up with sand. And once that is not operating, your oil just goes. You know, your oil gauge falls to nothing. Well, and the thing was that. While it was parked in its revetment or wherever it was, that thing was in. But there was a big long rope on it. It had a link there and a big long rope. And the mechanic or whoever was on the wingtip, always when you sail up, there was one there. It was his job to pull it out to sea and get it out of your road and away you go. Well, this day I started up and, okay, thumbs up everywhere and away I go, you see. And I'd just get off the ground and start to get wheels up, and I noticed the oil gauge just going like that. And I realised what had happened. So I whipped around as fast, as quickly as I could, thinking, well, I've got to get back and land before this thing catches fire. And I landed. And of course the mechanics come out and there it is. So he had to have a
you would have been nice and crossed.
Oh, he was on the charge. Well, yes, I was. And a couple of things, careless things by mechanics caused me some trouble. Another time I turned over to do, you turn over sometimes just for nothing, and I turned over, and of course all the dust came from the bottom of it. And that was, you expected that. The next thing, crash, a whacking great wrench came and hit the bottom perspex. And I just missed it, thought that. And so when I came down again, here's another trouble. Who left the wrench on the floor of the cockpit, which is the worst place it can be. So, but I must say that I never really had an aircraft let me down that I had to force land. I've had when I was testing them, when I was resting, that used to be one of my jobs, test the aircraft. I had a few there, but I just dead stick land on the aircraft, but that wasn't ops. But I've always been pretty kind to engines. like I sort of know how they're like a horse. I had a lot to do with horses. I was a farmer before I was a teacher, you see.
Right.
And I knew that you couldn't abuse horses. And when I was given my first pony, my stepfather promised to belt the hell out of me if he ever caught that horse in a white slather, as he should call it. If I came home from school with the load of knots, and the poor horse was nearly dead.
Yeah.
And I think I learnt then that you have to treat them kindly. And I did the same with my Spitfire or my Kitty Hawk, and never was let down by an engine, which was a pretty good recommendation for the mechanics who looked after them. And so I don't have too many problems there. Some of the pilots did abuse them.
Oh, exactly. He said, he said, like anything, if they...
One of my worst nightmares was when I went on leave. You had your own aircraft.
Yes.
And because while you were away, if they happened to be short, they'd take anybody's aircraft that was available. And I knew very well that somebody would hurt my dear aircraft. So...
Because if it wasn't theirs, they'd be thrashing it.
Yes, and they would treat it like they treated their own, and their own was out of order because of some bad treatment, I suppose, and there they are flying my beautiful thing. I remember one day I came back from Alexandria, I think we'd been, and our operational area was up near Benghazi somewhere, and when I came, the first thing I saw, we landed in this old Bombay or something, which had come up and back. There's my aircraft, and there's one wheel in the slip trench. And the wind's resting over there. I nearly cried. I thought, oh no, there it was. Some silly plot had been taxied around, not looking where he's going, and dropped the wheel into a slip trench. So, those little things happen. But I must say, an aircraft never let me down. We were lucky because if we were advancing, well, our strips or whatever, LG landing grounds they call them, numbered, they wouldn't have been more than 50 to 100 miles apart, which is only what, half an hour's flying. Well, if we were going ahead, we'd get word from the army. You know, we'll be past here at 9 o'clock this morning, that sort of thing. You make sure your aircraft can take off, but they don't land back there. Or if the Germans were advancing, they'd just have to land back. And they'd say, well, you can use the forward aerodrome of the Germans because we'll have taken that by this morning.
Hopefully.
Of course, they were quite, they knew what they were doing. And we landed back there, and the Germans had their post office apparently, was in one of their tents. And of course, when we landed back, our transport was there and our tents were being put in, and we said, souvenirs. We'll hop and eat some souvenirs, and that's when I got blown up by the mine. We hopped on a jeep, four of us, and I just took my parachute off, stuck it on my seat, and sat on it, and away we went. And we were going around looking for the post office because we'd get some photos and all that sort of thing as a mail, you see. And we were looking for a Luger or a Nazi flag because their tents were still there. They didn't have time to do anything. They had to get out so quickly. They had to almost everything. But we did the same thing too.
Right.
They'd say, you have to go. Get on your aircraft and go. And if you couldn't start it, you had to hop out and get into a truck and go because they were almost coming over the hill. Right. And we would leave all those unserviceable aircraft which hadn't been serviced. They couldn't be flown. They had to be left behind. The Germans had to do the same thing.
If you had time, you destroyed them or you just left them?
No, I don't think we did. We just got out.
Got the hell out of there.
Or
like
left them where they were. Because the timing was so short. And I got a clock out of a Kitty Hawk, one that I couldn't start. And I had a screw.
Good opportunity.
It was an Elgin clock. As soon as you hear somewhere, I haven't really found it for them sometime. But there was enough time for that because the truck was picking up other people or something, and I got the clock out before I got in. But they were hurried withdrawals. And this day in the jeep.
You were sitting on your parachute.
On the back, at the back, and we were going from one, and they must have had time to put some landmines in. And we went over one, and bang, up she went. Just said, blew the whole back off the jeep. Luckily, I was sitting on my what's the name, or else I might have got some of it. And blew me up in the air and landed me over there somewhere. And
what do you remember from the explosion? I
remember the noise. my ears rang for 2 days
Right.
after that.
You would have gone up a fair way, surely, because...
Oh, I'm not too sure that I did. No, I can't remember how far I went up. I can't remember that. I can remember the noise. And I remember looking around and seeing the sort of dust and smoke. And but nobody was killed. One of the blokes sitting on the left-hand side, I think, got his leg broken when he got knocked out or something. But it broke all my teeth along the side of my face, that's all.
Did it?
And I got it fixed up. But I never went to a doctor while I was in the Air Force. So my medical record was clear. Now,
So
when I want to claim something
it.
from DVA,
Yep.
well, you didn't have this during the war. Even my being blown up on in this Jeep wasn't recorded. Because I said, I reckon that's why I'm going deaf. Because that's one of the noises that I still remember.
That wasn't recorded at all.
No, it wasn't recorded. We weren't supposed to be doing it, I suppose, but and we didn't make too much fuss about it. But
so did you get any souvenirs? Or was
no, but we did later. We got them later, and it happened on one or two fields which we took over from the Germans that they had booby trapped it.
Yeah.
And an aircraft landing on this new airfield and taxiing around to where we had a dispersal. A tail blown off. The tail wheel ran over it and just blew the tail off. That happened. And of course, in the tent, if they had time, they'd leave, fountain pens and things like this
Yeah.
there, which were doing the so you have to be pretty careful. Anyhow, we didn't get our flags. We never got our loot. We got away with it here and there. When I was on leave from operations, I was at Aberystwyth near a big RAF camp near the canal,
Right.
the Whiteboard side. And we used to train pilots coming through for operations, you see,
Yeah.
the same as I had been down at the time. And we had mostly, Canadians, Yanks and that sort of thing came through, and we trained them up and sent them off after the war like
Yeah.
we were then. But we had a fairly large group of Egyptian pilots who were given to us to train up to almost war standard.
Yeah.
And I don't know how come we were given that job, because it was almost in the middle of the war. Anyhow, these blokes were of the higher echelon of the Egyptian society, of course.
Yes.
Because to get to this stage
They'd have
of being a pilot, you're a big stuff. And one bloke faltered. He couldn't make it. He wasn't a very good pilot. He damn near killed me because he was ham-handed, and when I first took him up in Wirraway, he took hold of a stick and he just put it around and we stalled, and he wouldn't let go, and I'm yelling and screaming. And when we came down, I had to have an understanding with him.
Yeah.
But he gave me to understand that if he couldn't pass this course, his family would be disgraced out of existence. So I sort of, well, we'll see what I can do with him. And I persevered with him. I took him over as my special bloke with the others. And when the others got through, I didn't fail him. I said he just needs more and more help.
Right.
And finally got him to the stage where we could pass him. Well, he was so delighted because his family would now be in the back in their right position because their son was such a famous pilot. He said, "You and your friend," it was my friends from here, said, "you don't get married." He called me Snow. Because I got married just the day before I went to the war. He said, "We're going to have a good time overseas, you and I." And he was a real ladies' man bloke. He said, and when I told him I was going to get married, because it was the last fortnight that I was a blogger, he said, "Just bugger," he said, "that'll spoil everything." So anyhow, I got married and we went overseas together, and this bloke McGraby, he said, "We have a good party now at my house." He said, "We have everything. We have the girls, we have the bashies, we have..." And I said, he said, "Will you come and bring your friend? Because you have done me such good." And he gave me a lovely jewel speciality, directly. Yeah. He gave me an Egyptian white flying suit.
What?
Yeah, which I got out there. And I've used it in painting and all sorts of things. But I'll give it to you if I can find it. And he said, "You come to this party and you tell your friend, and I'll tell you it'll be 2 weeks' time." And so I said, oh, I don't know what I can do. I can go. I don't think they'll allow me because I didn't want to go to this. I didn't want to be mixed up with these girls because I'm a young married man.
Newly married.
When I told him, he said, wow, we'll be in this, won't we, Snow? I said, no, we won't. I said, I'm not going. Oh, he couldn't believe I wouldn't go.
Snow?
And so, yeah, he called me Snow. His name was Roy Drew, came from Peterborough. And so I just told McGravy we wouldn't go. Of course, he showered me with gifts and I told him, I said, I'm married, I can't do this sort of thing. And he understood that, but Roy didn't understand it. He was raring to go. He thought this would be great. And so that's how I got the lovely, Mary uses that as a jewel box.
Yeah.
The jewel box. And well, what else did he give me? He gave me 2 or 3 pretty nice ornamental things.
Incredible.
Because I'd got this poor bloke through and
You
saved
took
his
the extra
family
time
from
to do
Australia.
it, yeah.
And I don't know what happened to him. I think he'd kill himself if he went on for too long because he wasn't the right temperament and he didn't have the flair for it. But he was safe enough to let through anyhow. But,
what was the story with the Spitfire again, or just the Darwin trip?
Oh, yes, well, that's true, though, really. The squadron had been posted to Morotai. And the CO and A flight, they had to go in two sections.
Yeah.
They had to leave one section behind while the other one went there and got established. Then the other section could come up.
Right.
See. Well, I was flight commander of B flight, and B flight was the one selected to stay behind. A flight went off up to Morotai, and it must have been Christmas time, I think. And the next thing, I can't remember too much about it, but we said, look, we're in charge of this place.
Yeah.
There's nothing going on. No chance of anything happening before, next week or so. I don't know whose idea it was, whether it was mine or my friend. Anyhow, we said, let's go to Adelaide for Christmas. He said, you're in charge, you can do this. There's nothing wrong with it. So we decided we would. So we get these 2 Spitfires and we fuel them up. Away we go. I think we refilled it in Adelaide, I think it was.
Right.
And came down, landed at Parafield, put them in charge of the Air Force there, as you always did when you were flying around operation. We were operational pilots. And we had Christmas Day, and as far as I know, we had the next day, and back to the squadron next day. No problem. I don't think we logged it. Well, my logbook doesn't show it, I know that. But I don't think the CO ever knew. Anyhow, I was the CO at the time, and that's what we did. Because we were just browned off with sitting around, doing nothing, waiting for something to go forward. And so...
Did you do a lap of Adelaide or anything when you got here?
No. We never went past Parafield.
We
left the aircraft there and came down. I don't know, I suppose we got a taxi down here.
Yeah.
And 2 days later we're back, refueled, away we go. That's how flying was in the war, of course. You're an operational pilot. You said, I'm coming in here and I'm leaving at such and such a time, and the aircraft's in your hands. So we got away with that one, which was, it was too exciting. It was a good thing to do.
No, you got a Spitfire into Adelaide, so
yeah,
that's the story. Yeah, excellent. All right.
We did some silly things. Back in Abbotsford, where I was doing all this instructing, we went to do Ismailia, which was the town nearby. My friend and I, he was a Canadian.
Excuse me, how old were you at this stage roughly, by the way?
Oh, about 30, 31.
Right, okay.
I wasn't a young silly boy. And we had a fair few drinks, and on the way back, we got the squadron jeep or something, and we said, we're pretty good, we are real hot stuff in formation flying.
Yeah.
I'll bet you that we could get out on that airstrip. We could get wingtip inside a wingtip. We could take off. We could fly around the circuit and land without moving out of formation. Now this is over comms, of course. Well, we did it. Yeah, we got got back, we got out.
You did it?
Yeah, we did it. We got the 2 aircraft out, and we got ourselves lined up there, on the airstrip, and away we went. Because he was a pretty good pilot too, I suppose, honest. And we slowly went around the circuit, right around, down, and we were pretty pleased with that.
I bet you were.
We were
Yeah.
under the influence of favour. And that's why it shouldn't have worked.
Yeah.
And that's why we were so damned overconfident we did it, I suppose.
What were you in? What aircraft?
Kitty Hawks.
In Kitties?
Yeah, Kitty Hawks, yeah. So, I suppose we did a few other silly things, but I was pretty lucky, I reckon, because I should have probably got shot down I remember a couple of times when it was really hectic and there were aircraft going everywhere. I couldn't see them get onto anybody, and all I could see was blokes trying to shoot me. And I didn't look at one. I can remember this now. I looked over and I could see the sea.
Yeah.
And I said to myself, I'm not going to get out of this. I'm never going to get out of this.
Is that right?
Now, I don't remember what happened after that.
Yeah.
But of course, I got back okay. But that was one time I really could see that I was in a box and I was going to get shot down, and that was it. And no matter where I went or what I did, I had that feeling that I wasn't going to get out of it. But I did. But I had a lot of unexciting times, I suppose. I was no star, I was no ace, but I did the job, and so I've done my teaching and my everything else. I was just one of those blokes who was a pedestrian sort of flyer, but I did it very well. I did my job very well, and did it according to the book and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
But, you know, Corwin and those fellas, they didn't give a bugger about what they were the real fighter pilot types. Yeah. I reckon I ought to have been a bomber type pilot, but I'm not that adventurous. But
what was your total in the end? You got a couple, didn't you?
yeah, I got 2. I got 4 damaged. I got, as I told you, I got 1 taken off, no, 2 taken off me when I was a sprog. When me and I won't name him. Yeah, right. Because he became a member of Parliament. But he was the hotshot. He was going to be the star, and he ended up being a pretty good scorer. And he and I were out there, and we got onto this German aircraft.
You want a drink, Des?
Huh?
You want some water?
No, I'm right. We got onto this aircraft, and we shot at it, and I reckon I hit it, and it went into the sea and smoke and flame. And when we got back, of course, I claimed my half. It was a year, but you never hit that aircraft, he said. Because he was the flight commander, and he was and I'm the little boy who just had about 2 or 3 operations.
Yeah.
You never hit that aircraft, don't be silly, Cormac. That aircraft was shot down by me. And of course I didn't know enough about the rules and regulations.
And he was the boss.
He was the boss, and he was about 3 ranks above me, so I just shut up. Yeah. But I reckon I should have had twice I got done down like that, but I should have got half. Anyhow, the score wasn't magic, but as I said, most of my time was spent strafing, dive bombing, escorting bombers and that sort of thing. And so it wasn't a glorious dogfight every time I went up. Lots of times we went up and we didn't see anything. We patrolled and we didn't see anything, especially when it was coming up to Alamein, when the Germans fighters were short of petrol, and they wouldn't come up because they couldn't afford the petrol, and they couldn't afford the planes to be lost. And we'd be flying around looking for trouble. So they decided that we would get them on the ground. And our job then was a very dicey one, because they were all dispersed around and they had machine gun posts all around it. And we had to go down, and we were told, pick one aircraft, make sure you get it, don't matter how far low, you have to go get it. And so we'd go down and hit, if we could, it was fire it anyhow, and then flatten out. Of course, when you flatten out, you went straight across the aerodrome. I can still see these blokes going like this. And I thought, how the hell can a bloke get through this without getting shot? We did lose 6 out of 12 one day by the Akak, because it was just a massive bullets going past.
Bit of solid wall of lead in places, wasn't it?
Well, it looked like that, yeah. Hell, I don't know how I got through, but that was a lot of the excitement that I had, but it wasn't flying around in dogfights and knocking blokes off. It was the pedestrian stuff of dive bombing and strafing, and at Tobruk we had a lot of dive bombing there of the harbour when they had it.
Did you ever have to bail out?
No, as I told you, I was close to it twice.
Yeah.
That time, when the Tomahawk was on the end of it,
and
I was going to get out, and I thought, well, I've got to pull the throttle off.
Yeah.
And of course, when I pulled the throttle off, I could feel the whole thing coming out, and I got back. And the other time was I was Morotai, and I was over the sea coming from the Halmaheras back to Morotai, which was only about, I suppose, 40 or 50 k's.
Yeah.
And my aircraft started to, the engine started to play up. And she lost revs madly, and she was cutting out and going in, and I thought, I've got to get out of this, because you don't land the spit 8, I think it was, in the water, because it just used to go straight down.
Is that right?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
They had those two oil coolers underneath the wings.
So they would have scooped. Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
They put them straight down. Yes. No, we were told not to land them on the water, because it would you'd get straight in. And they wouldn't just nicely plain line and stop.
Oh, glad you told me that.
And so I decided that I'd have to get to this, but I pulled the pin out of my straps, and pull the, and once again, pull off the throttle. As soon as I pull off the throttle, she started to fire, and I jiggled the throttle a bit, and she came back again. And by that time I was nearly to the land again, so I landed that one and did up my straps again.
Incredible.
So they were the only 2 times that I looked like getting out, but I was quite prepared to turn. The thing to do was, if you had the height, was just turn over and pull your straps out.
Yeah.
Push your stick forward, and you went down clean away from the impact. You see, I was quite prepared to do that.
Did you ever see anyone bail out of spits or kiddies around it?
Yeah, I've seen them, Germans floating down.
Yes?
Oh yes, I've seen Germans floating down. I've seen them, seen their aircraft go past my wings on fire, this sort of thing. But
that'd be awesome.
I have seen 1 or 2 of our blokes bail out too. But you see, you didn't have time to look at anything much. You just had fleeting glances of everything, because you were never flying on ice and all that stuff. You were going here, and other blokes were going here and there, and it was so you had to keep. Well, I don't know what you have to look at, but you have to be on the job all the time. But sometimes you did have time to, somebody come down there, and wonder when you were going to be next, I suppose.
Unreal.
Oh, crazy sort of business.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
But I was lucky. I don't think I never bent an aircraft.
No.
Never bent an aircraft, and never got damaged.
Very, very lucky.
Yes.
Yeah.
I reckon I was extremely lucky. And same thing when I went up to Huron Spitfires. And night flying, that sort of thing, that was another dangerous thing. We used to lose nearly every time we were practicing night flying. We used to lose 1 or 2 who couldn't handle the thing when you're night flying and you take off. There's where you lose your horizon.
Yep.
And that's when the inexperienced people didn't know what to do down in. And I survived that. It didn't happen to me, I don't know why. Perhaps you're supposed to go into your instruments.
That's what I thought. Yeah. When they're teaching you for the night flying, they put you in a tiger or something and put a blanket over your head.
So you're on your instruments.
Yeah.
And we had a reasonable amount of time in instruments. We could fly in instruments, I suppose, most of us. But it's a funny thing that you just don't like to give way to that instrument when you can feel something else is happening by the seat of your pants. And that is the greatest mistake you can make, to believe that you're right. You think you're flying. You think you're climbing, or you think you're turning, you can feel it, and yet you're not. It's incredible.
That's what
Don't be disloyal to those instruments. They are right. Doesn't matter what you feel. You follow them. Well, of course, a lot of blokes didn't. They were prepared to. Everything looked so good when you take it on down the flare path.
Yeah.
But once you lose your horizon, then you get disorientated if you're not careful.
I mean,
the Tomahawk, the Kitty Hawk and the Spitfire, they were big and strong enough not to worry too much about crosswind.
Right.
Yeah, we used to do a bit of side slipping as we came in.
Yeah.
But and I suppose we were good enough to side slip fairly close to the ground and then just put it down, which meant it hadn't picked up the side slip at all. But well, we lost a lot of people in training through these sort of things.
Right. And when was the last time you actually flew a Spitfire, roughly? Or where was the last time you flew?
The last time was in Moratine. That's when Peter Bruce left. That was a nice bit of a comment there, one of the better ones. So this is my last flight. 1944, April the 15th, bombing. Now I didn't do any more than that, did I? No, that was the end of it. No more entries.
Yep.
April the 15th, 1944, bombing. And it was Miriam and Djala photographed destroyed barges. This was all the Halmaheras.
Right.
Morotai was just a little island right on the northern tip. And Halmahera on patrol, Halmahera was a G7 interception, standing patrols. We used to do that. Was that night? No, not there. Halmahera patrol, bombing. And they were just bombing what we thought were barges. They used to have these barges with their supplies in it, you know, up the river. They'd have them covered over with these big prongs of banana leaves or whatever. And if we happened to see some of those, well, we just go down and dive on them, you see. But there again, it's a pretty small target. There's a lot of bombs flew all over the place. But that's when I flew last, the 15th of April 1944, and that was the.
Actually, can I?
Dev's saw, yeah, we ordered 1936. Do you want it run?
That'd be good. Right, so that was...
Oh, you want this on?
Yeah. No, that was...
Oh, I haven't got 1946 at 5 there, 44.
That was in...
No, 45 it would have been.
45.
That's right, yes.
Yep. That was in W?
Yes, my old favourite W. Every time, look. She was always serviceable.
Oh, yeah.
WWW all the time.
God.
You got it?
Yeah.
That's what you get for looking after your aircraft, you see, and having a good crew. Well,
Morotai.
that was this is when I first started Morotai. This is after I'd been down to Adelaide.
Yep.
And look,
WW, man.
I don't know what this one was for. What was that on the McKinley Patrol? What did I do with K? Sector Patrol. That was the first flight I had at Morotai. Get up and have a look at the area so that you don't get lost, you know.
Yeah.
And have a look at the surroundings.
Familiarise.
How long did it take? 35 minutes, that's all. But that's what you did when you first arrived in your area. Sector Patrol.
Yeah.
But, because every time I flew in your aircraft, I put a photograph on it.
I know, that's absolutely unique. That is fantastic.
And another thing I did was when anybody got shot down, there's a description of some of the flights.
That is brilliant.
And they're the people who got shot down.
Just get a close up of a couple here.
You want more light? I've got a good light there if you want it.
Oh, this is actually alright.
Is it good? Where's the one I shut down? We all had that funny. There's some more fairly important ops. This is Kitty Hawk stuff, this is.
Yes.
I just want to get you the one where we found when we got the Stukas that time.
Oh, definitely.
This is it. At long last we meet the Stickers. We meet 20 Stickers squatted by outside. That's the one. Where all the 6 of us got one each.
And that was that caption in your album.
Yeah, that's right. That's where the Egyptian press came out and the BBC came out to talk about it.
Okay. Perfect.
Yeah, well, I think that's... I don't know what to put this on here for. Oh, yeah. We won't talk about that. That's one time I got lost coming back from an operation. The kerosene was blowing, you know. The kerosene is that big dust storm they have
Yes.
every again. And I couldn't find what's the name. And I saw this row of drums around the corner, and I just landed there. And of course, I was posted missing by my squadron because I stayed there overnight.
Yep.
And Mary gets a message here in Australia that I'm missing. Of course, next day I go back. I land my own squadron. The storm was over, and they didn't cancel the thing to tell Mary that I wasn't missing. Oh, gee. Oh, yes.
How long before she found out?
Oh, I don't know. I'm not too sure. It wasn't very long. I don't think it wasn't too bad, but that was just my stupidity of getting lost. Of course, you're not supposed to get lost in the desert. This is a typical comment, fired at one and missed.
Okay, this is what we were talking about earlier. And here's the proof.
I got when I first started operational flying, and I had it for 3.5 years in the Middle East. And when I came back, I had it for another year up north in Morotai and Darwin. And you can have that.
Thanks very
I
much.
don't know whether these are any good to you, but these are silk maps which we were given of the Darwin and the New Guinea area, which were a lot easier than strip maps, you know, cloth maps, and they would fold up in your flying suit down there.
So they were kept in your suit?
Yes. And you'd take the one of the area you were going to fly in, and of course if you have to get shot down or anything, or if you got lost, well, you could map read your way if it was
Oh, they're fantastic.
But I had all of these, and they're still there.
Oh, that's great.
So if they're any good to you,
Oh, look, definitely.
take some of them. I better leave some of them. It goes cook when I give things away, but she's more interested than anybody else. But you take those.
You sure there, mate? Thanks
you
very
take
much.
that, and while you're packing up, I'll go and see if I can find that. What's mine? And I'll sneak it past my wife, and you can have it too.
Okay.
Des Cormack DFC 250 squadron, would it
That'd be perfect.
be too much?
No, that'd be perfect.
Just give us a decent sized book like that.
No, it's not a very comfortable position.
It's all right. Get another one.
Yeah, I'll grab a food, mate.
It wasn't that we had some Williams there.
Yeah, that one.
Perfect.
Not easy, is it?
No, it's very difficult, unfortunately.
Yeah, well,
That's it. That's all I require. It's great.
that'll be all right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now,
Yeah. The others really just have to be initial. Just anywhere on there.
what'll I put?
Yeah, Des Cormack DFC. Or you can just put DC DFC. I've never thought of that before.
Easy. There's that book.
Yeah, no worries.
The big one.
There you are.
Doesn't.
Pen's not the best thing for us.
Just that enough?
Yeah, that's enough on that one. That's perfect. Yeah, I don't need to go on the wing. If it's even, might be a bit difficult with that one. Have a crack at it. Mightn't work. Have to get out there. No, actually that wing there would probably be better.
Yes.
Perfect. Thank you very much, sir.
All right, good. Very honoured to be able to
Oh, look,
be on there.
when I've got it all finished off, I'll send you a photograph.
Oh yes. Very nice. That's it. And you'll no doubt over the years. Well, I've got that, but it's handy
Yeah.
for records. Oh, that was in the 96.
96 paper.
There we are.
Ooh. Perfect.
Yeah, that was on our strip, I think. His what's the name collapsed.
That's not a bad shot, then.
Undercarriage collapsed. Yeah, we like shot of it. Can this thing take it while it's there?
Close up, I think.
Oh, do you want to take it out? I'll take it out if you like.
No, it's alright. I should be able to zoom in.
Want a bit more light on it, don't you?
It's pretty sensitive, this. Okay.
Go.
She looks have to move it forward just a touch, does it?
Yeah. Want another book under it?
No, it's alright because if it comes up any higher, it's catching the reflection.
Oh, I see.
So that's actually good where it is there.
Oh, it's stroked, is it? Urine Quinty. Stuka. Glenn Martin. Lysander, they're the old pipers. Tomahawk. Had rather an unfortunate landing. JU-88, that was their main light bomber. The Leo. Yeah.
Fortress.
Oh, there's, yes,
Yeah.
there's a fortress there. I've got a better one further up, I think. That's the 109. That's the CR, that's the Italian early fighter.
Okay.
CR-42. That's Moraine, that's the French fighter.
Mm-hmm.
He used in Syria, Hurricane. God knows. That's a flying.
Big girl, yeah.
Nice Kitty Hawk there. Hurricanes.
Maybe took some shots.
Yes, I think this is Aberystwyth. Between Cairo and Port Said, that was where we used to go back for our instructing. When we were resting, we were instructing. That's where I did those courses with these Turkish pilots and so on.
Okay.
Khartoum, I had a bit of a leave down there. Well, that's where I trained on kitty hawks. Down OTU when I got there, soon after I got there. Well, that was after I got home, you know, when I went back teaching.
Yes.
They gave me a big party when they heard about the DFC.
Good on them.
And everybody there, you know, was assigned to.
Oh, fantastic.
They're all the staff at Black Forest where I was teaching when I came back. There's some Italians surrendering. I'm pretty sure they're Italians, aren't they?
Yeah, they're Italians, that lot.
That's the Church of the Holy Sepulchre, that's the place where Christ was born. That's the
That's
story.
the clipping.
And these are the offshoots that our own papers picked them up.
Right.
And our local paper printed it. That's a bit, yeah. That's one of the best photos that I have.
That is a good one,
yeah.
yeah.
And that's Hal Freckleton. He's another Spitfire pilot. He lives over here at Alice. I think I haven't seen him since the war ended.
Is he still going, is it?
I'm pretty sure he's still there, yeah.
What was
he never
his name?
comes to any... Freckleton.
Freckleton.
Yeah, Hal Freckleton.
Okay.
He was in 452. Yes, he might... he's in the phone book, I'm pretty sure, if you want
Now
to...
that is a brilliant photo. How come I didn't catch that one last time?
Well, that was when we... they used to pop up one each side when you were taking off, if you're going on a thing, and make sure this was clean, that was right, and everything was okay. And while we were waiting for the red light to go up to take off, they just had to...
That's a pearl,
chat
is
away. Yeah, that was nice. A couple of good blokes there. Welcome home.
No, those are the ones I sent there.
That's right, yeah.
Oh, fantastic.
There, remember I told you?
Yes.
He's had it too. They were scattered everywhere, those blokes. There's Tripoli. Oh, I thought the White Legion book was Tripoli. There we are. There's the good times. We were all sugar to the world. He was a group captain. There's a wing commander there somewhere too. Look at this.
Let them loose.
Oh, these are the citations and stuff. Oh, there's Anzac Day. Rostag is there.
Yep.
Oh, you know Rostag is?
Yes.
Oh, you didn't know him. He's dead now.
Yeah, I know,
But
unfortunately.
that was in Khartoum. That was a party at Aberystwyth. Yeah. Waterways. That's 452. That's me. There's Keith Cotton.
Where are you then? Oh, you're just on the...
Well, that's B flight there,
Yep.
and A flight here.
Okay.
There's the Sue Spence. There's Clive Colwell.
Killer
who was our
Caldwell.
rook, and there was our other incoming CO. What was his name? Oh, I can't remember his name now.
Yeah.
Of course, there's all the strips up there. That's the remains of some Japanese aircraft that got shot down over Dale. That's Sattler Strip. You know, there's B flight headquarters. There's the revetments where we used to park our aircraft.
Yes.
Oh, see there. There's W.
That's the cockpit you were telling me about, the 109.
That's the great 109.
Did you take that photograph?
No.
Okay.
I can't remember where I got it from. I was a great gatherer of people's
It
photos.
certainly did well.
Well,
Incredible.
as I say, if you're my tent and you get shot down, I'll take your revolver and your big coat
Yep.
back and put them in. The rest was amongst the tent.
Yeah, that's right.
And a photographer in there, some of them had photographs. Oh, I don't know. You go ahead and see what you want. Yeah.
Fair books. Oh, you kept everything, didn't you?
That was a party we were invited to. They were pretty... Yeah, we used to have a good time, though. Docking card on Queen Elizabeth, which we went over from here to...
Oh, what happened to your insignia?
Oh, no, that's the trouble of taking photos out and not putting them back in the right place.
Right.
There was, you know, the